I'm Sue Patchen. I'm the Program Director for Impact Services Meals on Wheels. And first, I have to say that I do have snow mold allergies, and so I do have a scratchy throat. So if that is what you hear, that is why. I have a couple of intros here. You know, Pastor Max asked me a couple months ago if I would share my faith story concerning Meals on Wheels with you. I wrote up my journey, then COVID-19 came. I was talking with my sister, and she said I should still share it. I will add the latest obstacles at the end of the story. So here's the original beginning. Pastor Max asked me to speak about my journey of faith with Meals on Wheels. I said, sure. I figured that I would write some bullet points down, and then I would do my Sue thing and start talking away like I do. Then Max emails me, saying he was going to be on vacation, and he was sorry that he was going to miss my talk. He then asked if he could get a copy of what I was going to say. Well, I went, sure. I guess I better get typing. So here it is. 1 Peter 4:10. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others, as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. My faith has held me up through the unknowns with Meals on Wheels. As adulthood has had many paths for me, it amazes me how everything comes together. The summer of 2004, I was unemployed from District 11. They wanted to reconfigure the structure of the title program at the schools, and I no longer wanted to play the game of being laid off every year and then holding our breath to see if we would get funding. It struck me in July and August that my summer school classes were coming to an end and I did not have a job. Ever since I left the corporate world with McDonald's Corp., my income was solely for Amanda's and Michael's extracurricular activities. I remember working in the church's kitchen when Dorothy Warwick came up to me and asked if I'd be willing to work at Meals on Wheels. At first I poo-pooed the idea. I had applied to a few openings to manage some of the school's cafeterias, thinking that food service would be my calling and the hours would work wonderfully with the children. Little did I know that it would take the district over 4 months to get back to me. So as I pondered in August, I figured that at least a little income would help towards the children's activities. I started that September working 2 days a week, 3 to 4 hours a day. Our office was behind the chapel at Mercy Hospital. It was perfect. But soon I was working 3 days a week. At that time, we were known as Anoka Champlin Meals on Wheels. There are over 40 different Meals on Wheels programs in just the Twin Cities area alone. We were and still are a privately funded nonprofit organization. Dorothy was our board president at that time and wanted to reach out and restructure our board to get business members in the over that territory. Our office was moved to the Mercy Healthcare Building, and we started to make the trek over to Mercy daily through the tunnel. We went from 16 square miles to 380 square miles starting July 1st, 2008. It was a process, and we had to figure out how to service those folks out in rural Anoka County. Luckily, we have churches throughout our area that also support us. Our satellite stops became a daily routine, and we have 7 routes that have been our link to the outskirts of Anoka County. When all this was happening, struggles started with our executive director, and I started taking over the daily operations of the program. I'm not sure when it happened, but soon I was working 5 days a week. The hours were still amazing for me. I was still able to get the kids off to school and be home in time to shuttle them to dance, piano, and other activities. Then in 2011, Steve Griffiths became our executive director, and he had plans for us. In 2012, our name became Impact Services. I remember the confusion of why we would change our name. Getting our meals at Unity Hospital. Our office is still at Mercy Healthcare building, but the kitchen was at Fridley. So we would load up our vehicles, run down to Unity, package the cold bags, seal and label the hot trays, load up our vehicles, and run back to Mercy. Now how we fund Meals on Wheels is pretty basic. For those clients on waivered programs, we get reimbursed through the county insurance companies. There are private paid clients who pay for each meal they receive at a reduced cost. Then to make up the rest, we rely on churches and the community to offset the costs. Steve does apply for grants, and yes, we do get some each year. However, they are never a sure thing. Then he coordinates many fundraising functions for us. Steve and I are a great 1-2 punch. He deals with the financial side, I deal with the operations of the program. Ever since I started with Meals on Wheels, there's always been a dream that we would have one program in Anoka County. This would help us to secure grants when we are serving the masses. Before we acquired North Anoka, we were serving 250 to 300 meals per week. Now, after July 2008, we would do 500 to 550 meals per week. So with the thought of increasing our outreach, the boards of the Fridley program and ours met to discuss a merger. After a few months of deliberation, Fridley came back and said they were not interested. No worries, we just kept on doing what we do. Now let's back up more than a couple of months, but back on April 4th, 2019, Bridget, the executive director of the Coon Rapids Blaine program, took her own life. She'd been battling depression. They had a person who was helping her out, and they made him the executive director for that program. Over the next few months, we did not hear much from them. Then on September 18th, we got a call. Camellia Rose had sent them a 90-day eviction notice that they were no longer going to be their caterer. They would need to vacate by December 19th. Their board called Steve and asked for guidance. They decided to go out in the community asking if we'd be willing to take over the territory. Before we could say yes, we had to ask Alina if they would be able and willing to take on the extra meals. If you know anything about corporations, they do not act quickly. So on Friday, November 1st, my last day of work before heading out on vacation to see Amanda, Andrew, and Lexi, we got confirmation and figure out Thanksgiving holiday meals. Sidebar, for those of you who drive, you know how crazy Thanksgiving is. So from November 12th to now, my world has been turned upside down. For those of you who have driven for me, you know how my route books look. I will say it is a team effort on those route books, and I like the fact that we have the personal touches in them. The Coon Rapids Blaine program uses pages of directions with no breaks, just bullet points. I had to rewrite them and give them the Sioux touch. Then, starting December 2nd, we literally doubled our meal count. We now serve 437 square miles and are averaging 1,100 meals a week. I have certainly had my struggles the last few months. My simple job are called. There is so much in that song that I can relate to Meals on Wheels with. As I sing this song, it builds up my strength to carry on. I can remember humming this in the elevator as it would call me. Over and over I would repeat, we are called to love tenderly, we are called to serve one another, to walk humbly with God. The first month was hard. I'm talking December. There were I get why they were so angry. But I tell you, getting yelled at every day for something that was out of my control was not pleasant. There were several days that once I got out to my car, I would just break down. The hours, the negativities, trying to get the systems down was difficult. Then I would find my inner peace and remind myself that we are here to serve the masses. Our office down at the campus. This sets up a whole new way to service our clients. For almost 50 years, drivers have picked up the meals at Mercy Hospital. I'm there to greet them and when they come back. This will now change. So we are told that we would move March 31st. Luckily, with all the craziness around, our move has been put on hold for at least a month. We are currently working with Mercy and trying we are all here to serve, and I have faith that this will all work out. All right, now we have to add the current obstacle, COVID-19. Trying to keep our clients fed and our volunteers and staff safe. The past week and a half, things have changed rapidly. We've had strategic meetings with Unity Hospital and had several levels at which we can function and still get the meals out. Last Friday, we had 2 such meetings, and when we came out, we implemented our half of the first day. The satellite sites are now down to 3 times a week delivery. The drivers are leaving most meals at the door in coolers or in a bag. I refer to this as ding dong ditch. I kind of find it funny that some of my drivers do not know what that is, and I have to explain it. I have fun with the drivers, and it's been all good. The community is rallying around us, and we are getting many drivers who are willing to take up routes. So if other drivers are ill or not feeling well, we can still send out the food. We still do the personal touch, but we just have to get creative with it. One of my drivers yesterday came up with an idea to write a little happy notes to the clients and put it with their meals. I think I'm going to sanitize some Sharpies and hand out some Post-its or postcards from now on so that they can be the little ray of sunshine for our people. At first we were told to think of 1 or 2 songs for tonight. My other song would have been Pass It On. It does only take a spark to get a fire going. All we need is that spark to feed the masses. Meals on Wheels is more than just a meal. We are a bridge to assisted living, recovery, or the circle of life. I'm grateful that I've been able to touch so many lives to help those in need. I truly believe God sent me on this journey to find my gift to serve others. And that's where it ended. However, today's been another fun, challenging day, and every day is different. But our clients are scared, and we all are in uncertain times. But what we know is that we are here to serve them, and we are doing everything that we can. So thank you.
We
So I go back to 1 Peter 4:10. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. Thank you.